Good day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at I say obviously, but we're going to be taking a look at the Blue Legends Limited Trunks. And yeah, basically, I think overall, for me, realistically, really quite solid. I think Trunks is one of those few units that throughout his time in DB Legends has really stayed really quite true to his performance. I think when he first came out, he was a really good unit. I think when he got his Zenkai, he was a really good unit. And I think now with his plat, he is still quite a reliable unit in PvP. So I think he's one of those really special characters that's managed to complete a, I guess I would say holy trinity when it comes to individual performance in DB Legends. So let's talk a little bit about Trunks before we talk about the plats and before we talk about PvP. So obviously Trunks Zenkai is super important. I have mine at Zenkai 7. Highly suggest that you obviously Zenkai him. His plat alone isn't enough, but the plat and the Zenkai is definitely enough. He is really good after that. In terms of his Zenkai main ability, he will draw his ultimate arts, the Final Hope Slash, next. Restore his own health by 25 and his own ki by 15. Give himself plus 20% to damage inflicted for 30 timer counts. And apply an attribute upgrade plus or minus 50% to enemy sustained CUT effects. His Zenkai unique abilities, his initial one is plus 90% to damage inflicted. Damage reduction of 30%, which cannot be cancelled. And every time he's faced with an enemy, he will restore ki by 35, give himself increased strike damage, and reduce damage received by 10% for 15 timer counts when the enemy uses a strike, special, blast, awakened or ultimate arts card while he's on the field or in standby, which is really great. While he's on the battlefield, when he causes an enemy who has a revive effect to reach 0, he will reduce their health by 30%, which is helpful quite a bit in the meta when there's a lot of revive heroes, although that's not super duper common now, but still it's one of those things. So yeah, you get Swell of Hopes and Dreams, which knocks enemies back to long range if cover change is performed against their strike arts, which is good. It can activate during assists, and it will charge you his own unique gauge as well when he's hit while he is on the battlefield. And once his unique gauge is full, he will restore his own health, give himself damage inflicted buff, ultimate inflicted buff, arts card draw speed upgrade, attribute downgrade, and cancellation of abnormal conditions, and reducing the enemy ki by 100. If he has a team that has a Vegeta family, Future clan, or Hybrid Saiyans clan tag other than him in the party, he will restore his health once only when it reaches 0, and also charge a unique gauge by 100% when health reaches 0. His last two passives are pretty straightforward. When he performs a vanishing step, he will restore his own ki by 30, give it 20% inflicted damage for allies by 10 timer counts, and also shorten that substitution by 2. So obviously his main goal will be to do damage, vanish step, switch out, switch in someone else, and then just keep things kind of chucking along. His final passive is the power of believing in something bigger than you. When he enters the battlefield, if there is another Vegeta clan, Future, or Hybrid Saiyans battle member other than him in the party, he will get an increase to strength damage inflicted and ki recovery. And if there is a certain number of battle defeated members, he will get plus 20% to damage inflicted for 1. And obviously if there's 2 defeated, he will increase his arts card draw speed and apply the buff effect, nullification of enemy special action, cover changes when changing cover. Now in terms of his abilities, they're really still quite good. The big one is his green. So his green obviously refreshes the hand, randomly drawing 4 new ones, giving you ki as well, and gives you a huge damage inflicted and a strike damage buff, which is great. Also charges your unique gauge up a little bit to help you out. But the main incentive here is to time those green cards to perfection, because they really give you a big advantage and can help you combo quite nicely with the fact that they refresh for 15 cards. Now his special moves are obviously Gallic Gun. This will increase the damage for special moves by allies or buddies, And also, you will draw a special arts card next on hit if there's defeated battle member. So you replace a special card with a special card. And then Final Hope Slash, which will obviously deal Supreme Slice damage and give a 50% ultimate damage inflicted boost and nullification of enemies' health when it reaches 0 boost as well, which is great. So that is obviously Trunks, and I think that shouldn't surprise anyone that Trunks is still pretty good, but that's not the only thing. We need to look at obviously his equipment, and his equipment is really where things start to come home, because his equip is really, really quite good. Obviously, you need to spend some resources to get this to a pretty high level. But what I will say is I think the equip itself is actually really quite helpful. So it's We Won't Let You Win. It comes from the Ultimate Collection. It's specifically only for this Trunks. So obviously you need to have it if you're looking to run this Trunks. I don't think it's anything like optional. I think you need to have it. You have to have it. Trunks needs this equip, but it's huge. Obviously the base stats, 15% health, 40% strike arts, attack, blast attack, strike defense, blast defense. Slot 2 gives a 30 to 70% damage inflicted buff, which is huge. A restore own health by 1 or 3% when being hit with an enemy's art attacks. This is great because it doubles up with the special passive he has that makes him quite tanky, the rage mechanic. And he will restore his own health by 5 to 15% if HP falls below 50%. So again, just giving him some more mechanisms to stop the enemy comboing him into the ground, and just giving him some stuff to kind of back and proc off of his unique ability with. Then obviously slot 3 is the big one. So we have slot 3, which will draw a special arts card when he enters the battlefield, applying only once. When he uses a special arts, he restores on key, nullifies enemy special action cover changes, cancels enemies buffs when they activate a special move, or just basically do anything. So basically, to cut a long story short, Trunks is really, really solid. His equip is really, really good, and I think it gives him just what he needs to be relevant again, because the current meta is really quite tough. Ultras dominate the meta with their various game changing mechanics, and so like when you get a unit like Trunks that doesn't have anything groundbreaking, but it's just very, very solid in design, I think that's why you find that he manages to hang around so much, because I think ultimately at the end of the day, everyone would kind of want that kind of unit, and I think that's what Trunks is. He's the kind of unit that you want on the team. Not saying he's the best unit on the team or anything like that, but he's a strong closer, strong finisher. He does a lot of really good stuff. He, I think personally really is a strong unit for this meta and any future meta. I just think Trunks is really quite simple, and in that way it makes him very cool to use him. He also, what a lot of people don't mention a lot, is cancels the enemy's buff effects on his ultimate arts card, and this is huge because it actually allows him to take a lot of people by surprise. A lot of people in like the meta generally rely a lot on either huge buffing mechanics to kind of make everything work for them, or just kind of take a unit and do whatever. But ultimately I find Trunks to be an incredibly good unit. I think he's really quite solid, and I think he does a lot for the team, especially as a damage dealer.